감사합니다. 아!
South Korea is a visual metaphor for modern Asia. Here, relentless growth goes hand in hand with the reverence for heritage. The Korean Wave, or Korea Fever, describes worldwide interest in Korean culture. Spurred by the global popularity of Korean pop culture, television series, and films, or Hallyu, the number of tourist arrivals in Korea has jumped significantly. Discovering Korea from its heritage to Hallyu in just 5 days poses quite the challenge. But never fear. Searching for the ancient soul behind pop culture, squeezing in quick adventure, and visiting Korea's natural sites in 5 days is a can-do. From touchdown at Incheon Airport in Gyeonggi-do, one can get around by train, bus, or cab. Curved like an inverted C hugging the nation's capital Seoul, Gyeonggi Province is the gateway to South Korea. With the other half of the Korean peninsula belonging to North Korea, one must start with a little geography and history lesson at Paju City in Gyeonggi, south of the 38th parallel. The ideological divide is a literal one at the DMZ, or the Demilitarized Zone at Paju. Imjin-gak was built right after the 1972 North-South Declaration. This sprawling tourism complex houses relics of the war and peace symbols. It also has parks, restaurants, and an observatory. For South Koreans, the place is all about hope and unity. From the roof deck of the Imjin-gak complex, one can view the hills and peaks of North Korea. The forward-moving Korean psyche is not one to dwell on the past or on the shortcomings of the present. Forever hopeful, each structure at the DMZ Freedom Park represents the much-awaited reunification with the North. There is the Dorasan train on the railway line meant to traverse the entire peninsula from north to south. The Bell of Peace, which will ring loud and clear when the gates of the North open. The aptly named Bridge of Freedom, and the many sculptures that depict families on both sides of the border reunited once again. Looking to the future with optimism seems to be a common trait among all Koreans. One discovers more and more as the Paju tour unravels. UB Park is short for Ubiquitous Park, and the wordplay is instantly amusing. What at first seems like a misnomer, the word ubiquitous is appropriate when used to describe the information system that will run the future city. Paju Gyoha City. While still 3/4 under construction, it is the first city connected by a state-of-the-art information system called the Ubiquitous System. Running the city from powering street lamps and digital outdoor entertainment to household basics like preparing food and watching television will all be under a central computer, the first of its kind in Korea. And, as the tour proudly claims, the world. Tucked in the hills of Paju, Haeri Art Valley is a village where bohemian meets utilitarian, an enclave for creative minds. This community of writers, artists, movie directors, and journalists thrives in creative self-expression. All the buildings in town are required to use at least 60% of the available space for culture or art. So the boxy, practical architecture common to houses and buildings all over South Korea is redressed and reinvented in each museum, cafe, and shop at Hallyu. A children's bookstore is a museum with fanciful and well-loved characters from children's stories on display. The eclectic, hip vibe of Hallyu makes it a favorite spot for filming some of the country's top television shows. Hallyu fans can stop at Farmer's Cafe, where the popular series Boys Over Flowers was shot. Having a Cold War relic as next-door neighbor explains the national obsession with progress and all things creative. From futuristic cities to places built to celebrate art, Paju lives up to its slogan, the land of hope and the city of peace. Today's Korea is always looking forward, but it also reveres the glory of its past. When we return from heritage to Hallyu, the proud Joseon dynasty is remembered throughout Gyeonggi-do. Day 2 of Korea in 5, and set out early and head to Yangju, Gyeonggi Province. All is still, perfect for a morning walk. Hardly a sound except of the occasional rustling of leaves blown by the mountain wind. This is the best time to visit MBC Daejangjum theme park before touristy crowds take the authentic experience away. The gates come to view, and instantly you are transported back into Korea's glorious era, 15th century Joseon dynasty. Daejangjum is a popular television series based on the life of the first female royal physician, Jangjum. A 20,000 square meter complex, the set is a faithful recreation of a palace during the Joseon dynasty. This is where Jangjum won the heart of Prince Ming Jong-ho and millions of viewers worldwide. Joseon was the last imperial and longest ruling Confucian dynasty in Korean history. Walk along the palace grounds to immerse yourself in the culture and architecture of the era. The set is built in the low, colorful style characteristic of the Joseon age. Each building comes complete with the tiniest details. The suragan, or royal kitchen, is where surasang, or royal meal, was prepared. A replica of the 12-course meal, ingredients, and ancient kitchenware are also on display. Visitors can complete this time travel experience by trying on traditional costumes, like the court lady's hanbok or a soldier's garb. For the utterly authentic Joseon dynasty experience, head to the provincial capital of Gyeonggi, Suwon. In 1796, King Jongjo attempted to move the national capital from Seoul to Suwon. He was so captivated with the city that he built the Hwaseong fortress here. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Hwaseong fortress is an example of modern military architecture of that age. Old fortifications in Korea were simple walls built of stone around the town. The construction of Hwaseong changed that by incorporating solid military ramparts, a defensive fortress, the town center, and 4 major gates enclosing the city. But more than just a show of might, Hwaseong Fortress is a symbol of filial piety. King Jeongjo built it to honor his father, King Sado, who was murdered, locked alive in a rice chest for failing orders to commit suicide. Within the walls, at the eastern foot of the hills of Paldalsan, is Hanggyong, or the detached palace. King Jeongjo spent his summers here away from Seoul, worshipping at his father's tomb. The collection of 22 buildings was restored after most were destroyed under the Japanese colonial period. Singpungnu, the main gate, is from Singpung, meaning new hometown, indicating the love Jeongjo had for Suwon. At Singpungnu today, visitors are treated to a performance, an example of military sophistication during the Joseon age. The 24 martial arts were compiled in 1790 by Lee Gyok-moo and Park Jae-ga, under the orders of Jeongjo. The text they produced was used to train soldiers a mixture of Korean, Chinese, and Japanese martial arts. Rigorous training is required to execute these moves, and if you'd like to play soldier, you're better off trying your hand at traditional archery by the main south gate. Be ready to pick up a good number of arrows, though. It isn't as easy as it looks.
Shot.
Nothing happened.
Winding down at the end of the day, Suwon magically transforms from fortress city to a modern metropolis awash in neon glow. Shopping in downtown Suwon is an option, but not before one fills up on a meal dating back again to the dynasty's glory days. Samgyetang is chicken stuffed with rice and ginseng and boiled in a broth of jujube fruit, garlic, and ginger. Good old chicken soup this side of Asia. And like all chicken soup recipes across the globe, samgyetang is believed to cure and prevent ailments. Mostly served during the summer, the dish is best with a shot of insamju, or ginseng wine on the side. More on food on day 3. Korean cuisine is known worldwide for the most distinctive dishes, kimchi. A pickled vegetable dish, the most common type of kimchi is the spicy beichu or cabbage variety. Kimchi is always a staple banchan or side dish to any meal of the day. Kimchi can be eaten alone, wrapped in lettuce leaves, with meat, or even as soup. Raring to know more? Get up close and personal with this distinctive dish at Pungmi Foods in Suwon. This isn't your ordinary food field trip. After a peek at the assembly line, you may just be treated to a hands-on kimchi making class by Pungmi President Yoo Jung-im herself. Guided by her expert hands, one can get on those plastic gloves and start making kimchi. The ingredients are laid out on the table: cabbage, radish, salt, garlic, onion, ginger, parsley, and leaf mustard, pickled shrimp, anchovies, and fish sauce for seasoning, and of course, red-hot chili powder. Yoo Jung-im grew the business from her own homemade recipe to a booming enterprise. So the Queen of Kimchi is the best tour guide at the Pungmi Kimchi Museum. On display are the different varieties of kimchi. Chinese cabbage pogi kimchi, where the filling is spread on pickled cabbage leaf. Mat kimchi made from cut cabbage. Chonggak or radish kimchi. Even strawberry paste kimchi for those who like kimchi without the hot and spicy aftertaste. Kimchi is also a lesson in geography. Kimchi from the southern region of Korea is mostly hot and spicy, using fish sauce and shrimp. The colder regions of the north do not use fish sauce, and their kimchi is on the watery side. The upper northeast, Hamgyongdo, is close to the sea. Kimchi here is seasoned with fresh fish and oysters. It is a dish born of necessity. Cold winters in ancient Korea forced farmers to pickle their vegetables during the summer and autumn months, using large earthen jars to store and ferment the vegetables. Before leaving Pungmi Foods, visitors can also try on traditional Korean costumes, pose for pictures, and of course, buy kimchi. Travelers craving for the high-end shopping experience at bargain prices will love Yeoju Premium Outlets. "126 luxury shops and designer boutiques are housed here, with goods on sale for as low as 80% off. Imagine snaring your favorite designer duds or trendy sneakers at half the price. Gyeonggi's proximity to Seoul also makes a quick day trip for souvenirs possible. On a stroll through downtown Seoul, shop for one-of-a-kind buys like wooden Korean tops. For the kids, there's Everland in the city of Yongin. A theme park at the foot of the mountain, Everland is the ultimate playground. One can book rooms at Everland or spend the whole day exploring. The rides are the park's biggest attraction. The T-Express is Korea's biggest wooden roller coaster with a 57-meter drop, not for the weak of heart. Tamer rides are family favorites, and so is the Zootopia tour.
One more time. Good. One more time. 알았어. 바이바이. 바이바이. 어서 야, 이따.
After a day spent on rides, stay for some evening entertainment. A day of fun at Everland is capped by a dazzling light show and a grand fireworks display. If you've had enough urban thrills, exit Gyeonggi and head to Jecheon City, Chungcheongbuk Province for some quiet time. Up next, when Korea in 5 returns. You've learned about history and had your dose of Hallyu in the city. Now it's off to the countryside for a greener, calmer experience. Time for the wellness portion of this travelogue. The only province without a coastline, Chungcheongbuk is worth a visit because of the lake that encircles its cities and mountain ranges. Day 4 finds us traveling to the city of Jecheon. Located in the northern region, Jecheon lies between the Chayong and Sobek mountains. The lush green landscape is a welcome reprieve from the freeway drive. Urimji is one of the oldest irrigation facilities in the country. Surrounded by weeping willows, the park is a favorite for early morning joggers. Jecheon is also known as the home of herbs. The rich limestone soil and cool climate of the highlands are good for herb farming. The city's first herb market dates back to the Joseon dynasty, when herbs picked from Sobek Mountain were brought down to Jecheon to trade. One of the 4 major herb markets in South Korea today, Jecheon promotes this industry through its Wellness Festival, held every September at the Gwamdong Jecheon Airfield. The festival is a lively mix of herbariums, stalls hawking herbal remedies, free consultation for traditional medicine, and alternative therapy. For more of Jecheon's famed traditional healing, head to wellness retreats at the outskirts of the city. Here, one can avail of a thorough checkup. Consultation with the in-house doctor, alternative therapies like acupuncture, and a Qigong class.
1, 2, 3, push and pull.
To enhance the meditative mood further, the Shrine of Peron is the place for a retreat. Located between 2 valleys at the foot of Mount Gamak, the name Peron means shaped like the bottom of a ship. This is the site of the first seminary in Korea and served as refuge for the early Catholics escaping persecution. One of the young leaders of the Catholic Church, Alexius Wangsaeyong, hid in this cave in Peron. It is believed that he wrote his paekso, or silk letter, to the Bishop Gueva, recounting religious oppression in Korea and pleading for the bishop's help in rebuilding the Catholic Church. Wang did not remain in hiding forever. He was executed for high treason and was one of the early martyrs of the faith. Open to people of all religions, beautiful landscape gardens and walkways make the shrine a must-visit, whether you're soul-searching or just nature-tripping. On the same spiritual note, stop by the Nguyengang Sotdae Museum by the Chongpung Lake. Framed by the Kwemsu mountain range, a row of wooden ducks, or sotdae, are poised to fly off into the sky. These carved wooden ducks and wild geese first became popular in the Gocho dynasty. Symbols of hope, wealth, and prosperity, the first sotdae were made in Sodo. Used in prayer rituals, the statues were considered sacred messengers of the gods. An ancient art preserved for today's modern-day wishes, sotde of all shapes and varieties are found in the shop and museum. Ending the day at Joseon may be spent shopping at the city proper, which, like any Korean city, is a neon wonderland at night. But an alternative to bustling streets would be waiting for the moonrise at the highlands of Joseon, or unwinding at the charcoal sauna, where hot rooms of stone are naturally warmed by charcoal kilns. Relaxed enough? Then end your Korean sojourn with a bit of adventure, coming up next when we return. Your last day in Korea calls for a bit of adventure. Drive off from city streets until you find yourself surrounded by water. Cross the Chungpong Lake and you have officially started your adventure in Joseon. Book rooms at the hotel by the lake and set off to Chungpong Park to try the highest bungee jump in Korea, if you dare. There's also the giant swing and the ejection seat for those who can't handle the 62-meter drop. But this also isn't for the timid. A tamer, calmer experience would simply be to soak up the view, catch the ferry boat, and take the lake cruise. Blue on blue, Chungpong Lake mirrors the sky on cloudless days. The lake circles the mountain ranges of Mount Jumsuswan all the way to the Oksunbong and Gudambong peaks. If you'd like to view the peaks from a higher vantage point, then drive around the valley to Mount Bibongsan paragliding field. A monorail with open-air seats and a wooden boxed cart takes visitors about 300 meters up the paragliding field. And then, one finally gets the bird's-eye view of Chungpong Lake and the surrounding mountain range. It is fitting that after a 5-day run of Korea, one ends at the high peak, where the rest of the peninsula is but a speck below. And you see, stretching far and wide, out to the ocean, the soul of Korea calls out to travelers swept by the fever, just like you.